I'm Joe. I work with field recordings and I also use video now and again, increasingly actually. And I guess I make sound art largely just using the field recordings, sometimes incorporating people playing instruments or sounds from people, and a lot of my work's based around environmental issues or ecological issues. So I guess you could call it ecological sound art. I'm interested in connecting people with the environment.
What is my practice about? At the moment, for the last sort of 12 years, I've been working with glass. Before that, I was in lots of bands and was a bass player, but I started a solo career probably about 14 or 15 years ago. Found out about the Benjamin Franklin glass harmonica instrument and thought it just sounded really beautiful, so started experimenting with that and electronics. For the last 4 years, my work's pretty much been concentrated around sound installation with glass and electronics.
I found out about MA and the experimental music it was making and promoting when I was studying. Like Andie, I did an undergraduate degree quite late in life in music technology at Huddersfield, and MA is based in Huddersfield, so that's how I know they existed, and I ended up doing some sound technician work for them and helping out some of their experimental music gigs.
Didn't do my undergraduate at Huddersfield, but I'm doing my PhD at Huddersfield. But I had met Ryoko, I think in 2014, at a sound art festival where I was playing and Ryoko was curating, called Full of Noises Festival. So I already knew Ryoko, and then when I moved here, knew that Ryoko and Stephen were doing things here with Ame, and I've really just been around and sort of helped out occasionally and just support what they do very much. And having come from London, where I've lived most of my life, I'm really grateful that there's something like that happening here.
I worked in the environmental sector.
There you go.
Jack, sit down. Sit down. So that's, I guess, informs my practice. I worked trying to stop people polluting the environment, I suppose, for the body that regulates the Environment Agency. I worked for them for over a couple of decades. I don't make very much work, and when I do make it, I need to have a reason for making it. And for me, the environmental side of things is really I guess, a lot of the time, the thing that drives me to make the work. When I was working for the Environment Agency, it was all about trying to regulate people or influence large organisations to make the right decisions about environmental protection, and it didn't always work. Through creative practices and working with people creatively rather than with a big stick or with the voice of or the powers of a regulator.
Yeah, cool. Although I've been making music for a long time, I really had difficulty working with the technology a lot, so that's why I went and did an undergraduate degree, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made, because it also introduced me to filmmaking, which I have integrated in some of my installation work, and Maximus P, which is what I use to make my installations. So, but yeah, I had been making music for a long time before that.
My residency is about the River Colne, and the River Colne, we're in the Colne Valley at the moment. The River Colne runs down the bottom there, eventually joining the Calder. I heard about a river in New Zealand which the Maori people have managed to get the same legal rights for the river as a human being has. So that kind of astounded me, and it made me think about our relationship with rivers and how it would be unimaginable in Britain for a river to be given the same rights as a human being. But for those Maori people, they are deeply connected with their river. So much so that they want to afford it the same protection as they would afford a human being. That made me think about, well, what is our relationship with our rivers? And that's what I've been trying to explore on the River Colne, and that's the kind of essence of my residency. It's really a lovely watercourse in many places. The water's clear, there's some lovely spots just to sit and be. And I think people are attracted to the river because of the sounds and just the tranquility, but also the wildness of it, much more so than the canal, which is very maintained and orderly. There's a lot of litter as well. It struck me how much we use the river to chuck things into. So I've been asking people to go down to the riverbank and take pictures of the litter that they see, and if they want, take it out, and that's going to be a piece of visual art. And this is my first proper residency. Is there an opportunity to try out new things, to kind of put yourself into a bit of a risky situation and do stuff you've never done before?
A fair amount of people know about my recorded and live music practice, but don't know about my installation work. So as a result, I'm kind of starting from scratch in terms of opportunities to exhibit my work. So for me, this is really great because it will be the first time that I've had the opportunity to exhibit my work in a sort of solo setting in a really nice space. I'm working on a fairly large scale installation. I'm not sure how many glasses yet, probably 6 to 8 glasses. And when I say glasses, I'm talking about wine glasses, but they're very large shapes, oversized wine glasses that I use with vibration. And I've been working with a programmer who's basically who's one of my fellow PhD students, James Bradbury, and he's been programming bits of Maximus P stuff for me to work with. So I'm kind of experimenting with that, and it's the first time that I've worked with another person in that way, because I tried to do everything myself. I'm basically working with hopefully a multi-channel piece, which is something I haven't done before. But I need to discuss tech requirements with Ame to find out what's actually feasible.